Pre-settlement inspections. Okay, clever home buyers. I've been leading up to this the whole course, everything that you've learned. Now comes the time to check that the home that you're about to pick up the keys for is in the same condition now as it was when you bought it, when you signed the contract. Pre-settlement inspection. When should you do a final inspection, the pre-settlement inspection? So the contract of sale has a provision for you to inspect the property just before settlement to check its condition. I always recommend inspecting the property just before you take ownership. Conducting a final inspection just before settlement ensures that nothing in the house has changed since you signed the contract. Once settlement has happened and the keys have been handed over, you're unable to go back and sort out issues that may have been picked up at the final inspection. This step is a crucial part of the conveyancing process, giving you peace of mind and ensuring that the property you are about to purchase meets all agreed upon conditions at the end of the settlement period. A pre-settlement inspection is not a second building and pest inspection or a time to go and check that smoke alarms are actually what you thought they were. No, it's offering you the opportunity as the buyer, limited rights to ask for changes. It's not an additional opportunity to identify defects. It is to satisfy you that the property's condition is reasonably the same as at the initial inspection or when you signed the contract. The whole point of it is to check that the seller hasn't damaged the home in the meantime or neglected it. Attend a pre-settlement inspection as close to the settlement date as possible. The date really depends on the seller and their circumstances. Like, you need to go after the seller has moved out and finished with the property and they're not going back again. They've handed the keys to the sales agent. And so therefore, when you go to the pre-settlement inspection, the sales agent will go with you and just check everything is still working and in the same condition as it was when you did the first inspection. So I say to people, use the same checklist. Get out that clipboard, get out your video, do the narration again, and you'll have just recently watched the videos that you took at the initial inspections. This gives you the opportunity to compare. So you're walking through, you're checking, and then you go, oh, that's different. Well, hang on a minute. If it's something like there was a cabinet, a wall unit against the wall and they've removed the wall unit and now you can see there's damage to the wall, that's not what the pre-settlement inspection is about, because that damage was already on that wall, even though they concealed it. It's about, okay, so that wall was intact last time I saw it and now it's got a huge big gouge out of it and needs to be refixed. Like, we need to get a handyman in now to replaster that wall, repaint that wall because it's been damaged they scraped the bed against the wall when they were leaving, or else potentially that was supposed to clean out all the rubbish under the house and all of these 17 years of build up junk under the house, and they didn't. It's still all there. Well, that was if you had it in your contract that it was supposed to be gone with them, I would state that clearly, because that if you're walking through the home and you make an assessment that the seller is maybe not going to be that conscientious when they leave, it might be something that you want to just make fair in the contract, that you might say, notice that there is about 17 years worth of accumulated junk under the house. Just want to make sure that that's all gone, because we don't want one box left behind, not one floor tile left behind under the house. We want it cleaned out. That's the expectation, because you should take all your chattels with you. If that's the case, then you might need to have that conversation with the sales agent, with the conveyancer, because you really need them to have taken all their rubbish away with them. You don't want any rubbish to be left behind. You don't want them to take things away that you expected to be left behind. Like the shelves in the walk-in robe. They've taken all the cupboards out of the walk-in robe. You weren't expecting that. So if you're assuming that they're leaving them behind, that's potentially not good enough. You would want to state that they are going to remain in the home and put that in the part of the contract that allows you to write that in there. All right. So yes, you need to have had the vendor moved out of the property ideally for that final inspection. Unless for some reason you can't get there and you're out of town, I would get someone else to go out there and take those videos and do that inspection on your behalf. A final inspection can be an exciting time, seeing your new home again after a few weeks. And so while you're walking around, you can decide if you need to get professional cleaners in or gardeners to tend to the property before you move in. The difficulty is you get your house fully cleaned. So when you leave a rental property, the onus is on the tenants to have the property back to the condition that it was in before they moved in. There's not that onus on the home seller. They can walk out and the carpets are dirty, disgusting. Everything can be dirty and need a clean, and that's not what's provided for you. So you can get the cleaners in to clean it all up before you move in, and then the removalists muck it up and dirty it again. Just be prepared for that. Okay, that is everything there is to do with pre-settlement inspections. Just make sure that when you do those inspections, you're using those checklists. And I have them again at the end of this workbook, the checklists that you use when you did the initial inspections. So what are you looking for at these inspections? It's best to have two sets of eyes. So take someone with you and somebody who can give you like, oh, that looks a bit funny. Did you, it's best to have two sets of eyes at the final inspection. Ensure fixtures, appliances, blinds and curtains haven't been removed. Appliances like ovens, dishwashers and telephones are sometimes removed. Sometimes light bulbs are removed and batteries are taken out of remote controls. That's why it's important to check that the fixtures and appliances are still in or on the property and that they are in working condition. Ensure that nothing like old furniture or rubbish is left behind by the previous owner. You also don't want them to have forgotten anything precious to them. Any damage to the property since you inspected it? Make sure everything is in working order. Check all the taps, drains, switches, and appliances. Items can break down from the date of purchase to settlement. Ensure that any agreed upon repairs have been completed and are in the expected condition. For example, they may have needed to repair something because there was a leak in the shower. They say they've repaired it. They have documents showing that they've repaired it. You turn on the shower and the leak's still there. Oh, so that sort of situation, in which case conveyancer, if applicable, check the rainwater tanks have water and that the water hasn't been drained. Yes, I've seen that happen. Check the swimming pool water is healthy and that the pumps are operating correctly. I think I said this in a previous module. You don't want to move into your home with a swimming pool that is green soup. That's naughty. Check the rubbish bins are provided and in good condition. So those wheelie bins from the council. Landscaping is maintained and plants and trees remain. They haven't dug up any plants or trees and taken them with them from the garden. They are fixtures. They're not pot plants that they can move. If they left pot plants behind, you don't want them. They should have taken them. Anything else as per the contract of sale. Damage to the property can occur when the vendors move out of the property. Walls can be damaged or floors can be scratched. A little bit of wear and tear is to be expected. However, if there is major damage and that damage was not visible when the house was first inspected or after the building inspection, take photos of the damage and give these to your conveyancer. Like I said, if it was concealed under a rug, behind a wall unit, that was there. You just didn't notice it, couldn't see it, didn't have access to it. That's a job for your conveyancer. It's important to take photos if you think there is a discrepancy. Your conveyancer may be able to negotiate a price reduction in the house or get the vendors to fix the damage. This is why a final inspection is so important. If the damage has been found after settlement, the cost to repair would be from your wallet, and that's not fair to you. Pro tip, just before heading off to the pre-settlement inspection, look at the photos and watch the videos that you took of the home when you initially inspected it, because that's the home that you signed to buy on the contract. Once you're at the pre-settlement inspection, use the same checklist that you used for your initial inspection. If something's wrong, compare what you see with the original. You've got that information, that evidence to provide to your conveyancer. And get your conveyancer involved immediately if something's wrong. Immediately. All right. Next, we'll be talking about terminating the contract.